Good evening, and what is up, Razorback Nation? Welcome into episode 82 of Hogs on the Hill podcast, your go-to source for in-depth dive into all things Arkansas Razorbacks. And of course, we're brought to you by our friends at Razor Pigs. Looking good, never felt so fun. Razor Pigs is the Arkansas-born brand, bringing some serious style to the golf course, the tailgate, and everywhere in between. From high-quality polos to head-turning hats, they've got what you need to rep the natural state with pride. Found it right here at home and now run by a Razorback-loving family, Razor Pigs. This where comfort meets cool, so go hog wild and shop Razor Pigs today at razorpigs.us. And our friends over at Scarlet Letter, Arkansas's very own handcrafted spiked seltzer. You can check them out today. And if you are in Northwest Arkansas, check out the Core Brewery Tap Room, where you can get Scarlet Letter in all of its various flavors. Thursday night, impending snowpocalypse incoming. How are we doing, guys?
Doing pretty good. Thankfully our groceries are good. We do have a delivery coming about between 9 and 11 tonight to get the last things wrapped up, but not too bad here. Trying to stay warm. Mostly just looking to Arkansas sports to keep me happy right now, though. How about y'all?
Yeah, it's not supposed to get as bad here, but you never know when you get ice on the road. So I just hope everybody can stay safe, and be interesting to see how it affects the sports world this weekend.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm in the same boat as you, Zane. As I've got a Walmart order expected to deliver anytime this afternoon, and then my wife also picked up some stuff this morning, so should be good once that gets here. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what it does over the next few days. I've seen predictions from anywhere from 6 inches of snow to anywhere from up to 18 inches, and the timing range went from it was going to originally start at noon to now it's going to start at like 4. So it's just kind of a little bit all over the board, and it's going to be interesting to see actually what happens, because in the past, they predicted, lots and lots of snow and then you get a dusting, or they predict a dusting and you get just a crap ton of snow. So who knows what's actually going to happen tomorrow. But, I think it's safe to say anybody mentions snow around Arkansas, and then the bread shelves and the milk coolers get emptied out pretty quick.
Man, I was at Sam's today on lunch, and it was a madhouse. I was like, I should not be here, but
right.
Hey, your boy forgot to get dog food, so we were running low. I was like, dang it, I gotta go. But well,
I'll be no door dashing this weekend.
I know. I'm not like that. It's fine.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, it seems like these past 2 weeks have almost been, mirror images of each other. Arkansas gets blown out by Auburn, comes back home, plays phenomenal against South Carolina. Doesn't necessarily get blown out against Georgia, but the games look very similar.
You started off getting blown out, but then we made Georgia back into a game and then let it slip. Right. So that was kind of the only difference, but both times start slow, looks like it's going to be a blowout. Georgia, we just fought back a little bit harder than we did against Auburn, but still.
Right. Yeah, and then I was going to say, you come back home and you just play phenomenal and put on a show against Vandy. When I saw predictions of people saying, oh, Vandy's going to beat Arkansas and this and that, and they didn't factor in. It's like the announcers say all the time, is you got to count on like an extra 10 to 12 points in Bud to even have a chance.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure, was Vandy favored entering the game?
I believe so.
Okay, looks like the line had shifted right before the game started to Arkansas by 1.5. But I'm pretty sure like the day or two before the game, Vandy was favored. A lot of people said that it was going to be Vandy. So, all I can say is Bud Walton's magical, and we just got to keep that intensity up from here on out. So,
right. I'll take a big 25-point win, after.
It should have been more than that. It was 34 there at the end, and, they got a few buckets there whenever we kind of let our foot off the gas.
Right.
So, but I did see it jumped us up to 20 in the net. Definitely good. That's obviously, big. It's not a perfect ranking by any means, but definitely good to see you go up in the net as opposed to down. So it was a fun game for sure to be at.
Right. And it's like you even commented about it when the game started, Hobbs. But I think the big storyline for this game was, and we talked about when it was going to come. Malik Thomas gets his first start of the season, and could this be kind of a sign going forward? Is he going to be our guy now, and is DJ going to be kind of our spark off the bench, or is this kind of maybe a game plan or a game by game situation that we'll have to monitor going here forward?
Yeah, I mean, to me personally, it was long overdue. Now DJ played phenomenal, and like Cal said in his press conference, this was more for to get DJ going. So it was, I mean, great move by Cal to do that. Will Malik stay in the lineup? Probably for now. But I mean, I didn't know this. He's shooting 50% from three in the SEC.
Yeah,
that's
53,
crazy.
like insane.
Yeah. I mean, when he went 4 for 17 against Georgia, I'm like, there's no way. But then he doesn't miss at home. So we just need that kind of shooting on the road, and then we'll be all right.
Yeah, I saw a stat today that said when he played for Overtime Elite, he shot 39% from three there, and then no big deal in the SEC in college basketball, just shooting a 50%, like it's nothing.
Well, I did see Overtime Elite actually they're the only high school league that has a college 3-point line. Mm-hmm. So that's why they were saying, that transition was kind of seamless for him. So you got to wonder if – I don't see it happening in high school, but if maybe some of these prep leagues start to kind of adapt that or not. Obviously, that's probably not for this show, but that's something kind of interesting to see. Hey, Overtime Elite is implementing a college 3-point line. Their guys are seeing more success at the college level per se. So that's something kind of interesting. I didn't even know until I saw, I think this maybe the same graphic you were talking about.
Yeah.
With his 3-point shooting. So that was kind of cool to see.
And then, of course, the big thing everybody's talking about is the big, quote unquote Steph Curry moment that he had when he shoots the three, just turns around, looks at the student section, and it's nothing but net. Like it's just insane how once he gets going, you might as well as just mark it down that he's gonna hit 3, 4, 5 more.
Yeah, I mean he's very, very, very good at just, rolling with that momentum. He sees one go in, you can almost guarantee the next possession or two, he's going to get a 3-point shot off. Doesn't matter if it's a step back, doesn't matter how he gets it up. He's going to get a shot up, and most likely it's going in.
Right.
So he's fun to watch. But kind of what we were talking about earlier with Wagner coming off the bench, I said last time, hey, major props to Wagner. He's seen his role kind of dissipate a little bit this season, I suppose the last couple seasons, and he's taken it in stride, at least from what we can tell, and that is major props. Now coming off the bench instead of starting and still having possibly his best game of the season, I think that I think we will see Malik Thomas starting from here, maybe not from here on out, especially the next game or two though, but I think seeing Wagner come off the bench and have that spark he had, I think that's great for this team. So obviously, definitely won't give him credit though, because obviously that's hard when you've been a starter. Now you're moving to coming off the bench. That is mentally, as much as we talk and Cal talks about, hey, it doesn't matter who starts the game. In high school and junior high, I won't be a starter at this point. You're going to get your minutes, but still that mental in the back of your head, hey, I'm no longer a starter. Did I do something wrong? That's definitely hard, and he's definitely taken it in stride so far to this point. So that's exciting to see.
How about Malik? Cal said he probably wouldn't. He thought he wasn't even going to play, and then he's like, "Well, you're going to start." And Malik's like, "Oh, I'm playing." So that was pretty cool.
Forget that offhand. It's fine. It's not my shooting hand. I'm fine.
Right. So. Didn't bother him at all.
Well, no, it was great to see kind of that balanced scoring come back. 6 guys in double figures. It was explosive and fun to watch.
Right. And you run through it too. No surprise, Darius Acuff, your leading scorer, 17 points, goes 7 of 14 from the field, 3 of 7 from the 3-point line, 2 rebounds, 5 assists in 34 minutes. And I think the big thing with Darius is, I think Cal's really found the way to, the best way to coach him and encourage him. And it's like he said in his presser, He said, I took Darius out of the game after that, first little bit because he was just going through the motions, not really doing his thing, and he got mad at me. And then I put him back in and he started playing well. And it's like Kyle said, then you know what? Be mad at me all the time.
That's right.
So
yeah, exactly. He's like, I don't care if you're mad at me. If it makes you play better, hey, I'm going to do it. But yeah, I mean, it was fun to see because coming in, I remember someone was talking about it, but it was like us and Vandy were last and next to last in 2-point defense. In the paint, both of us were not that solid. And so it was definitely fun to see our bigs be successful the way they were and have that success. And now, we said it with Pringle after the South Carolina game. We needed to be more consistent from him, but he played very well. I think that him and Ewan both, consistency is going to be the key factor, but if they can both be on or even just one of them be on, it's going to be a very tough team to stop because at this point, the paint is kind of our weakness at times on the defensive side. But if they can be more consistent and be more of a force down there, I don't really see many weaknesses to this team besides that. So it's definitely exciting to see, exciting to watch.
Yeah, and it's like Pigpen says here too. He said, no other SEC team bullied Vandy like us. They were little. And I mean...
Yeah, I mean, they started, 6'7" and 6'8" post players. Like, Grant, that's big guys. I'm 6'4". I'm like, yeah, I'd be looking up to you. But in an SEC basketball landscape, that's too small. And even if early on you're more physical and aggressive, the size is going to wear you down. And also not just the size, but our length is also going to wear you down.
Right.
And we kind of saw that. Like, it doesn't matter. We were able to rotate 3 or 4 guys in and just have success being similar or bigger size than them. So it was definitely good to see us kind of physically bully a team like that. And hopefully that's the motivation that they need moving forward. So
I mean, this was the first road game really that Vanderbilt had to play a tough team on the road, a top 15 team. I don't care about the number 20 ranking next to us. We're top 15. So
yeah, their other road games were at South Carolina, which they won by 12, and then at Texas, which they lost by 16. So, and I think we're a better team than Texas. So, it's one of those, when you get them away from Memorial Coliseum, I really wonder how they're going to do, because that's one of those that, yeah, their record's good, but they're now on a 3-game skid, 2 of those being road games, the third to another ranked team. I think Vandy, when you look at it, is going to finish maybe 4th or 5th in conference, just because those road games and their size, I think is going to wear them down and it's going to hurt them as the season progresses.
Yeah, I really see them taking the slide at this point. I mean, maybe to the point where they're 8, 9, 10 seed in the NCAA tournament. I don't think they're very good. They don't have that white boy can shoot the lights out. That dude's ridiculous.
He entered the game at, I think, 46% from 3.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shoot. Nickel.
He hit a couple there at the end of the first half, and I was just like, oh boy. Like,
well, the number that he shot, that he got like the lucky bounce in too.
Yeah, that was the first one. Straight up, and I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that shot go in for someone at this level. But I mean, he
scored in the second half.
Yeah, and I think it was more, hey, pay more attention. Hey, he's
hey, why is he the one that's always open?
Yeah, but I think the big thing was, it was fun seeing our guys bully them and have fun offensively, but defensively is the big story. I mean, you take away those 4 or 5 buckets there at the end, you held their starters to sub 60 points on a team that was averaging 91. I mean, you had Tanner and Miles coming in both averaging 17, and Tanner got 11, but off of 3 of 10 shooting and 4 of 4 from the free throw line. So you were in his head a lot of the night, but then also Miles, who got the boo treatment, 5 points, 1 of 7 shooting, 1 of 5 from the 3-point line. So definitely got under his skin and irritated him, and it was big to see 2 fouls on him early. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely a game where I was kind of like, okay, this is one where you can get under his skin and mess with him, especially with him getting in foul trouble the last few games and fouling out a couple times. if you can get him off his rhythm early, it was going to be big. And we saw that because they have really good guards, but they don't have a lot of guard depth. So that was a big key.
Right. The other thing that I really like seeing, and we've talked about it needing to get it happen, is like Carter Knox got it going in this game. 16 points, 6 of 9 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line, add in 4 boards, 2 assists in 30 minutes. I mean, talk about a guy that, like we talked about with Pringle, wanting to get more consistency out of, because we know how good he can be when he's playing at that level. We know he can, that we saw at the end of last year. And if he can start putting together consistently, as we saw, kind of be that guy, that kick out and shoot guy, that we know he can be.
Even the backdoor cut. I mean, you saw a couple of explosive plays from him on that. Just that high basketball IQ, knowing where you are on the court, knowing where the ball's moving, most importantly, knowing where the defense is looking and where you can trick them and fool them and slip behind them. That is such a undervalued skill.
Right.
And people say, it's one of those that you learn in time, but also it's a skill to know, hey, our guy's dribbling here, he's dribbling wing to baseline. Okay, they're focused here. If I slip at this angle, he's not going to see me at all until it's too late. It's so many thoughts running through your head, and it is so much just instinctual is how those best players are. And so you could tell on a couple of those cuts where it was just like instincts. Okay, my defender turns head, bam, I'm coming to the rim. And that's what we need from him. If we're talking stats, another great thing was seeing Brazil's double-double. 14 boards was huge. So to go
he
with
was just cleaning up, yeah. And like the electrifying plays, like we talked about, all like the dunks. Arkansas had 13 dunks in this game, and it just seemed like it was electrifying all night. Whether it was Brazil, Ewan, Knox, whoever, even though he didn't make it, to see Acuff have the confidence just to be like, I'm gonna try to dunk over this guy. Like,
he was watching Anthony Black last week. Anthony Black, when he drove and dunked on 4 of those guys, he was like, "Oh, I can do that." Hang on now.
A little bit taller, buddy. Like it. But yeah, I mean, back to that balanced scoring attack, like you said. 6 guys in double figures. We mentioned Darius. We talked about Carter. Brazil had 10, 4 of 7 from the field. Missed his only 3, 2 of 2 from the line. 14 boards, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 4 steals for Brazil. Malik, we talked about. Nick Pringle gives you 8. I'll take it. 4 from the field, no free throws. He gives you 4 boards, 1 assist. And you know what? It's consistency so far out of these last few games. We've got Malik Ewan, 16 points, 5 of 6 from shooting, 6 of 8 from the line. He gives you 4 boards, 1 assist, 1 block, 4 total blocks on the night. And then, we mentioned DJ scoring 11. DJ only scored 11 in only 16 minutes of play too. So,
he was
these guys, everything was just clicking in all cylinders.
Yeah. And one thing, to go back to Brazil though, defensively, we held them on scoring, but it's not like we were forcing a whole bunch of turnovers. We only had 5 steals. Brazil had 4 of them. We only had 4 blocks, and Brazil had 2 of them. So he contributed heavily on the defensive side of the ball, which was great to see.
Yeah. And then, here's a good question Pigpen asks. He said, would the Vandy performance win us those games against Duke, Michigan State, and Houston? I mean, that was an A-plus game from us.
I want to go an A-plus game just because defensively we weren't as disruptive in their play calling. Now, granted, we only had 4 blocks, but we also altered a few shots just with our length and athleticism. But Duke and Michigan State are big enough, athletic enough to where that we may not alter as many of those shots. So I think the Vandy performance would have won us against Michigan State. Houston's defense was, we could be on and still we will have struggled just with how good their defense is. So I don't know about Houston. I'm not sure about Duke just because Duke has some playmakers as well who, when the team is struggling, they can take it one-on-one. And kind of like we have with a few of our guys. But I think if we played at home, played like we did against Vandy, I think we win those 3. But on a neutral court, playing with the same intensity, I think Michigan State, we'd pull out a win. Houston's a toss-up and Duke's a toss-up. But I don't see it being any double-digit losses or anything or as bad as they were. I think Duke would come down to a final shot, and I think Houston would be maybe a 2-possession game just because their guard defense and guard depth was able to mess with us to where even if we were on, they were at least intense enough to still cause us problems, even if we were playing our best. So they're that good defensively that I honestly don't know if we would have beat Houston.
Well, so for those 3 teams, they have some bigs that are
and that's the other problem.
And so that's number 1. Number 2, in those 3 games, there's a common denominator, and it was Carter Knox. He didn't play against Michigan State. I think he had 3 or 2 points against Duke and 2 or 3 points against Houston. Didn't show up in those games, and it hurts the team when because to me he's considered pretty much almost not a big, but a forward that can play.
Yeah, we've thrown him in at the 4 off and on.
He gets in the paint, gets rebounds. So when you don't have his presence, it's really tough on the team. And then Houston, we put up 85 points, so we were scoring with them. They just were hitting every shot.
Yeah, their defense is just
uncharacteristically. They were just going off like crazy on offense. And Duke, don't let me get started on Boozer and his little hook and grabs and getting away with every little thing in that game. So
again, why I don't think we would have pulled it out because they were able to score, and I wasn't going to mention get away with stuff, but
yeah. So
yeah,
I mean, I will say for Houston, that was the most points they've allowed all season, 85.
Yeah.
So their defense is strong, and also, hey, if you don't beat those 3, they are a combined 50-4, and they are sitting at number 5, 6, and 10 right now. So
yeah, they're going to be one or
very,
two
very, very good teams. There's no shame in losing those games.
Wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting there playing them in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 again. One of those teams.
I'll go on a limb right now and say all 3 of them make the Sweet 16, 2 make the Elite 8, and I think one of them makes the Final 4. So
I'll just watching them play, wins it all.
Who?
I think one of them wins it all.
I wouldn't be shocked, but there is a team named Arizona that might have something to say about your unanimous number 1 team right now, and they are looking like a wagon right now. I don't know if anyone's going to beat them right now.
But if we're talking about teams that we've lost to, I looked at the schedule and I can't wait. I cannot wait till Auburn comes to Bud Walton. Boy, I cannot wait for payback.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too, is it's like I said it before, and it's like the announcers are right. When you get a packed Bud Walton Arena,
it's very, very tough to play.
Right. You need to plan an extra 10 to 12 points to even have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, you look at our home games so far this season, and, I mean, that's kind of been the case. I mean, you've won by, 20 plus for the most part in every home game.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's a thing to have, and, a home environment like that. But going forward, we've got a few more games. We play at home Saturday, depending on the weather. But, we've got to figure out how to bottle this and get this type of play on the road. Because it doesn't matter how well we play at home. It's great and all, but you've got to figure out a way to do that on the road as well.
Boy, is that not the worst night to have a 7:30 game?
I know.
I looked at like 7:30.
I know, but I will say, I think it might be a little bit different on the road moving forward. Now, Grant, Auburn, you weren't going to win that game. They were throwing everything up and making everything. They were not missing. But the slow start against Georgia and being able to fight back and tie it up there near the end, I think that right there is even more of a, hey, you can't have these slow starts. We were able to fight back, but then we were too tired at the end of it than it was against Auburn hitting everything. So I think that's almost more of a good sample to point to of how you can't start slow. I think we'll see, was it Tuesday or Wednesday when we're at Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I forgot which day, but
look, losing to Auburn on the road, 0-2 in the SEC, they're kind of playing for something. It's a little forgivable. Losing at Georgia, Georgia's pretty hot team. They're decent.
Yeah, I mean they have a number by them, and
losing at Oklahoma, you cannot let that happen.
No,
absolutely not.
Can't lose at Oklahoma.
Oklahoma is not good. They will not be in the NCAA tournament. They'll be lucky to win 3 or 4 SEC games. They're not good. You cannot lose them.
Yeah, if you lose at Oklahoma, then we might have some problems. But I think they handle LSU well. I think it'll be 15 to 20 point win. I think with it not being a full strength Bud because of the weather, you're not going to see quite the home court advantage you would normally have. I think 15 to 20. At Oklahoma, I think we're able to pull it out just because we know how bad it's going to be if we do lose that game. So, but I do want to circle back. Pigpen, that was a great question. A lot of debate on that one. So that's a fantastic question to ask.
Yeah.
And I could talk all night on it. So,
well, I ain't got all night. So,
fair enough. I don't either. I just wanted to say,
but I don't think any of us have.
Good question.
But yeah, I mean, you go take care of business in Oklahoma. The team can, lock in and not look ahead. But that's what we're going to do here. Imagine the energy for Saturday, January 31st. Kentucky comes to town. They missed out on having Arkansas, Kentucky here last year and doing a home and home. But it'll probably be the best, if not the best, Bud Walton environment all season.
Especially with Kentucky seemingly turning a corner and now playing well. And they're 4-2 in conference play, same as us. So, I mean, you look at conference, you have A&M and Florida at 5-1, and then Georgia, us, and Kentucky all at 4-2. So, Kentucky's definitely playing hot right now. They won at Tennessee. That was a big win for them. You definitely don't overlook it as being, it's a home game. We do well at home. Don't overlook it because they do have some guys that can play. I wouldn't be shocked if Jaden Quaintance makes his season debut against us, which could throw some problems just with us not having film on him. Was a guy that Cal had initially had committed to Kentucky. And then whenever he came here, Quaintance did not follow. He ended up going to, I believe, Arizona State and now transferring back to Kentucky. Is rehabbing, or I think tore ACL or something, but I wouldn't be shocked to see his season debut against us. And that'll provide some extra juice for them. So they're going to come in ready to play.
Well, that's all cute and stuff. A little comeback win against Tennessee and, a little lucky little Christian Laettner buzzer beater to beat LSU. But Kentucky's going to get destroyed when they come to Bud Walton.
I don't
go ahead and book it.
I don't think they are athletic enough. I don't get how you put together whatever the word is. What is it? $22 million roster. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but that's kind of the consensus number I'm hearing. I don't know how you put together a $22 million roster and you don't have any studs that can just take their guy off the dribble and go score when you need a bucket. And it seems like it's a team full of role players.
Isn't that one guy hurt right now? I can't remember his name.
Oway?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he's hurt. I think he played last game.
Okay. So, I also went ahead and looked it up. Quintance has already played this season, so he's already made his debut.
Okay.
His first game was December 20th when they played against St. John. He played 17 minutes, shot 5 of 7 from the field, and scored 10 points in that game. But ever since against Bellarmine, he scores 4 points, plays 7 minutes. Against Alabama, he plays 24 minutes and scored 5 points. And then against Missouri, played 18 minutes and scored 1 point.
Okay. But he hasn't played since then.
Right.
So
he might have aggravated, re-injured something.
That's okay. So not season debut, but come back against us because he hasn't played their last 4 games.
Right.
So,
but yeah,
maybe not season debut, but come back against us.
Hold up. So the broadcast was talking all hype about Texas A&M, and they're not even ranked. Is that what I'm looking at here?
I don't know if the broadcast was hyping them up or not.
Oh yeah, they're saying, "Oh, Bucky ball this, Bucky ball that," So, but
I mean,
that's the last thing I want to hear about is Texas A&M when I'm watching Arkansas play.
Yeah, I mean, they've so conference play beat LSU by 3. LSU's 1-5.
Yeah.
At Auburn, they did win by 2, but that buzzer beater by Auburn, I think, should have counted.
That could have gone the other way.
Should have been a 1-point loss. At home, beat Oklahoma by 7. At Tennessee, lost by 5 in double overtime. At Texas, they won by 4, and then they just beat Mississippi State by 20.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, non-conference, you won at Pitt, but you lost at SMU.
SMU's decent.
I mean, their non-conference schedule is not great. They lost at Oklahoma State by 24. Lost at home to UCF by 12. And then at Florida State, they won. They won that game big by 36. But definitely don't have the same non-conference schedule as we face. So they definitely haven't exactly played as tough of a conference schedule to this point yet. So
yeah, I'm just waiting on all these teams to come into Bud Walk.
Exactly.
I just can't.
Once you get a bigger sample size, you've had teams with some easy starts, some teams with some harder starts. Obviously, I think once you get 10 to 11 games in is when you get a really good feel for it. Because you can only play the weaker teams in conference so long until you face some tough teams.
I just see it right now. They're going to put Arkansas as a number 4 or 5 seed in the NCAA tournament and then put us up against Miami, Ohio, 12 or 13 seed that ain't even lost a game all year.
At this point, Miami, Ohio might end up an 8 or a 9 seed. I mean,
that's true, the way they're playing, yeah.
I will say I've watched 1 or 2 of their games, and they're actually pretty fun to watch. So they got some guys that can play well, and they are just full team atmosphere, team mindset, and it's fun to watch them.
Yeah. Pigpen chimes in here, and I know what he's talking about. He says, hey, as long as Duke and North Carolina doesn't play the same night, game day might just come, referencing the Kentucky game.
Let me check.
I already checked. They don't.
They don't.
Duke, North Carolina
You're ahead
play
of me, Ben.
on February 2nd, so no worries there.
I mean, BYU at Kansas would be and whatever. That's the same game, same night. And then the only thing is, as much as I don't like it, if A&M keeps winning and they start getting some hype, they're at Georgia. I don't see that happening either. I think Arkansas, Kentucky would be a good college game day game, though, just because of the history there.
Right.
So,
well, as we quickly look ahead, LSU coming to town, potentially already in town for the game Saturday. You look at their roster, 9 guys in double-digit minutes. So, like we've talked about with some other squads, they play a lot of guys. They have a handful of guys that play big minutes. But, their top scorer, Deaton Thomas Jr., a guard. He's a guy, junior, 6'1", 178. Averages 15.1 points on the season, 2.7 rebounds, 6.8 assists. Shoots 47% from the field and shoots 83% from the line, 27% from three-point land. Experienced guard, again, we said over and over, their 2 top scorers, guards. I'm going to take Arkansas, Darius Acuff, and now it looks like Malik Thomas. Anytime, Max McKinnon, their other guard, that second leading scorer, 6'6", 195, senior out of averaging 14.6 points per game, 2.6 rebounds, 2.4 assists, shoots 42.4% from the field, 91% from the line, and 43% from 3-point line.
So he can shoot. So approach him the same way we approached what's his face from Vandy.
Yeah. Yeah, don't let him be open, just wide over there, jacking up threes. And then their big is their third leading scorer, Mike Nwoko, 6'10", 261 junior from Toronto. He averages 14.1 points per game, 5.9 rebounds, 0.7 assists, and he shoots 67.9% from the field.
So going to need the post to play some good defense.
Yeah. But that's the thing. This should be a game, not to jinx anything, but, coming into Bud Walton, we saw what happened earlier this week. Even if it's not a full packed house, just take care of business. Do the job. Well, I'll be interested to see if we have 2 games in a row of Malik Thomas starting. That's the thing we'll have to see. Is it matchup driven, or is it kind of how they going?
Performed against Vandy, you'll see Malik Thomas starting again.
Yeah. More than likely, yes, but I'll be interested to see how that holds up going through the rest of the season, pending, matchups and whatnot. But, a game I hate to say it, I'm not super worried about.
As fans, we can say that. As a coach, you can't say that.
Right. Exactly. They've got Arkansas favored like a 76.5% chance to win this game. So, I mean, they know what type of environment Bud Walton is. So, 7:30 on SEC Network. Do what?
They didn't know with Vanderbilt we had a 49% chance.
Fair enough. Well, they're going to learn today.
They're going to learn today.
So, Saturday, 7:30 on SEC Network. We'll see if it happens. We'll keep you guys updated. As of right now, game is still scheduled as planned. I know for tomorrow, since the weather's supposed to start coming in tomorrow evening, they moved tomorrow's gymnastics meet from 6:30 to 1 o'clock, happening in the middle of the day, to try to get it in and avoid some of this weather. So if that's on Friday, either they're going to move it from Saturday or still somehow play it. It's like somebody said, as long as both teams are there, I think it's as long as they have 2 of 3 referees there, they're going to play that game. So,
yeah.
I don't think I've seen a basketball game get moved before like that.
Yeah, because then you have to try to deal with the schedule, because the SEC tournament,
the TV stuff,
right? TV stuff, and not to mention the SEC tournament doesn't start it's very quick after the last game of the regular season.
Yeah, there's not really a day to really make it up. You got to play the game,
right? So we'll see what happens. As of right now, it's all systems go that they're going to play. Maybe they move it to an earlier time slot during the day so people aren't trying to get out at night. And
I will say, so how everyone has like a 1 game off, how Alabama kind of had their midweek off this week.
Yeah.
So our midweek off is between January 31st and February 7th. LSU has the same one, January 31st through February 7th. Okay. So it might get rescheduled to say February 3rd or 4th.
Yeah,
if they have to. I could see them doing that, just because that
then we would play them like
lines up to where they'd actually be able to.
Yeah,
because we play them at LSU's pretty soon too.
Yeah. We play at LSU on February 10th.
Yeah,
okay. So it would literally be they'd play here, and then literally a week later would be at LSU.
Right. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys up to date. But big win. Glad to see the show that this team put on in front of its home crowd, getting back against a Vanderbilt team that's been doing pretty decent. I want to ask you guys a question, and I know it's been a debate on social media as well. What's your guys' thoughts on the whole Alabama court granting Bediako eligibility to come back and play for Alabama after he's been playing in the G League?
So in my opinion, if you are on like the G League Ignite instead of college, and then you want to come back, I think that's fine. But once you've played college and you willingly forego
by entering the draft.
you had foregone I don't know the term and all, whatever word, but once you willingly forego your eligibility, I don't think you should be able to come back if you've been playing G League. Yes, it didn't work out in the NBA for you, but like go to Europe, continue in G League, but I don't think you should be able to come back to college. And I think the NCAA is kind of just sitting on their thumbs right now, like do whatever. I also saw something that I think it was JC Hoops was talking about where the judge, it was a Tuscaloosa County judge, is apparently a donor to University of Alabama. So that right there is like, okay, well, now what's going on here? I think that's something that should raise a flag or two, and I don't think he should be able to play. So, in my opinion, once you forego your eligibility, you should not be able to come back. There's never been exemptions on that. You shouldn't start having them now. So that's my opinion, at least.
It doesn't surprise me from Nate Oates and that team. I mean, they've had a history of just, with Brandon Miller and all that stuff going on there. And
there's a lot of things that Alabama does that people do not necessarily approve of.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's a little summary of, his timeline, if you will. He played at Alabama for 2 years, entered the 2023 NBA draft, did go undrafted, played in the G League for 3 years, and then now is resuming his 2 years of collegiate eligibility. It's just insane. And it's like, one thing they got to be careful of. It's all great and all that they get to bring him back for, from an Alabama perspective, but
are they going to vacate wins though?
Right. That's what Seth Greenberg, he had a little clip on Twitter where he was talking about, yes, the Tuscaloosa judge allowed him to play. He said, but the NCAA can make a huge statement by saying that this temporary restraining order allows him to play, but playing an ineligible player will void those wins on their NCAA resume.
I mean, hey.
That's fine. Couldn't happen to a better team.
I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I've always disliked a handful of teams. I always disliked Bama football because they were good. But also, like, you had to have some respect for Saban because of how professional he was and stuff. I just don't like Nate Oates at all, or Alabama basketball, just the way he handles things and acts with certain things. I don't approve of it. I don't like it. I
don't like programs that haven't been successful in their history, and then they have 1 or 2 decent years, and then all of a sudden want to talk like they invented the sport. Exactly. Tennessee baseball, So just there's a few examples I could talk about on certain teams, certain sports.
I totally agree. Alabama's never been a basketball school. This guy comes in. Okay, well, the issues with Brandon Miller and now this, it's like, okay, well, it's very just polarizing. I feel like it's going to cause more just problems in the long run for the program. And, like you said, they haven't been good in forever. So all of a sudden you're feeling like you're on top of the world. Yeah, you made a Final Four, but also like, just don't approve of your style of play or how you're handling anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you mentioned JC Hoops earlier. He tweeted, so this might be what you're talking about. He said James H. Roberts
is the judge. One.
He said he's a circle level donor for Alabama to the Crimson Tide Foundation, and the circle level donor is anywhere from $100,000 to $249,000. He said it might mean something. It might mean nothing. File this under things that make you go,
It's something that's definitely making me go,
Yeah.
And I feel like NCAA could have a heyday with it. I mean, shoot, my dream outlook on this is NCAA comes in and says, hey, he's ineligible. You vacate any wins you have with him. Oh, while we're at it, something happened with this judge. That was wrong. That was possibly, I don't know, coercion from Alabama. I hope there was. So Alabama can get in trouble for it just because I don't like them. But yeah, that's what I
Postseason
hope
penalty
happens.
ban.
What?
Give me a postseason penalty ban.
That would be crazy.
Give me a can't really limit NIL until Congress says anything, but give them a ban on NIL or something. I don't know. That'd be fun.
Yeah. What's crazy too is literally this past Saturday, he played in a G League game.
That's so stupid. Yeah, let's just let all the baseball players that went undrafted and have eligibility left just come back and play for us this year. Let's just let
For everyone who's not made to the MLB and is still in the farm league scene.
Oh God, we would destroy everybody.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Do you imagine that pitching rotation?
Oh my God. They wouldn't. Kevin Kopp's coming in and just dominating every game. And yeah, it's over with.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. The Field of 68 tweeted that Alabama Nate Oates plans to play him on Saturday against Tennessee. So we'll see what happens.
Conditioned.
Well, I don't normally root for Tennessee, but I will be Saturday.
Hey, the way we beat them, I'm hoping Tennessee does very well from here on out this regular season.
I know. I was getting my haircut watching Kentucky come back. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Losing. That's what they were doing.
But yeah, so interesting things going on in college basketball. But as we jump to college football, we got the close of the transfer portal. I don't think there's going to be too many late additions. Again, we mentioned that there was no deadline per se for when guys can, have to commit by. But I want to get your thoughts on, we've talked about it several weeks now. If you just had to take a quick glance, look at the roster that Silverfield put together out of the transfer portal, not counting what's here, just looking at the transfer portal, brought in On3, has us the number 9 ranked transfer portal class. What grade would you give Coach Silverfield for what he's been able to do this first offseason in the transfer portal?
So that's a loaded question.
Exactly.
So based on how we've been the last few seasons, I'd give it a B+, A-, somewhere in there. With how the hype and momentum of his hire was compared to how that resulted, I would say B-, C+. But all things considered and addressing like the areas of weakness and the areas of, that needed more depth, overall, I give it a B+. I think that he definitely addressed those areas that needed concerns. He brought in depth at some areas where we needed. But I do think that some of the words used in his press conferences maybe had some fans expecting a little bit more. Obviously, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, he put together a Power 4 competitive offensive line with group of 5 recruits at Memphis. Mm-hmm. So I trust the O-line to be good. And, in football, if you go back to the basics, you win the trenches, it's going to help you a lot in the long run. So I have trust in that. I think he brought in some good guys there. I think B+ is what I'd give him right now.
I'm very surprised with what I would say. And coming from a guy that the love of the game has kind of faded over time just because of the bull crap and the way the game is now and stuff, I'm very surprised at what he's been able to accomplish so far. Of course, he hasn't done anything on the field yet, but bringing in a top 10 transfer class is it says a lot. And really all you can ask a coach to do is try to bring in the talent to put on the field. Now, players got to execute at the end of the day. And of course, coaches have something to do with that too, play calling, having the team prepared, stuff like that. But I'd say I give him an A- based on what he's been able to do. I would have given an A, but he lost my kicker. And so,
you know what? As a guy who grew up playing soccer, I can understand that. So,
man, I hadn't been excited about a kicker. I'm like, we got a freshman kicker. You're going to get to watch him grow up. Nope.
And not only that, he
going
left
to the most hated team ever. So
he
that's
left for
great.
Lane Kiffin to make things even worse. But you know what? Hey, I hope at this point next year, when we look back to this initial class, I can say, oh yeah, no, it was an A++++.
Yeah.
Only time will tell how they execute. But for the style of ball he plays and kind of where his strengths are, and obviously, like I just said, the areas needing concerns in the depth, I think he did very well in that, which is why I'm giving the B+, but also I'm avoiding the A just because the talk of being the best class we've ever had and all that was kind of, I think, irrationally got some hopes up. But also just being realistic with the schedule next year and trying to look at realistically what I'm expecting from the team. Can't give it a full A right now, but with the cards he's been dealt, probably would maybe reconsider an A- or B+, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think I would fall in between you guys, like, feeling that confidence. But I think the big thing to look at for me is, like you said, what was Arkansas's biggest? They had a lot of problems last year. Don't get me wrong, but what was the biggest glaring issue? The defense. What did he go out and address heavily? The defense. We got over 17 DBs on our roster right now. We got in some really good linebackers. We got in a lot of depth on the D line. Like for him to come in and address what is needed is big. And then you get some decent talent on the offensive side of the ball. You bring in several running backs. You had to kind of rebuild your quarterback room. You brought in a few decent receivers for competition. And then the offensive line, like you said, for him to go out and get some really top guys, the number 6 overall tackle in the portal, to shore up the offensive line with what you got coming back.
And even some of those guys that may not have been ranked as high in the portal, but were very talented coming out of high school and just may not have seen as much playing time due to either a crowd room or what. I think that I trust him with his experience as an O-line coach and with the O-lines he's built. I trust the guys he brings in to be the guys that he wants to bring in.
Right.
And I think that, sometimes the rankings may be off a little bit, but I think he got the kind of guys he wants and is kind of looking for. So I'm hoping that, the O-line's what he wants it to be.
Yeah. Let's also remember, and this is why college football is a little stupid these days, but we can have a spring game and somebody can be mad about what happened and they not getting playing time and just leave. So so we ain't quite got a finalized thing yet.
Well, they can't anymore because they eliminated the spring transfer window.
Did they?
Yes. So they can't just peace out after spring ball.
So is the window completely closed? Are we looking at a roster we're going to have for next year?
Yes. I mean, technically, you can add guys, I guess, but nobody can officially enter the portal.
So Indiana and Miami hadn't really been able to do they just finished playing in this championship.
Right. So I think those guys have like the 2 weeks or whatever they get since they still played. Guys from like Miami, Indiana, like we saw it right after the game. Indiana's backup quarterback, Fernando's brother, Alberto Mendoza, entered the portal and went ahead and committed to, I believe, Georgia Tech it was. So,
Georgia Tech.
So those guys get that window still if they want to leave. So, but other than that, they moved it to just that one window in January and no spring window. So it's like guys can't just up and leave because maybe they didn't win the starting spot or whatever.
That's good. I wasn't aware that happened. So I'm glad to hear that.
So you're kind of looking at at least depending on the circumstances, there shouldn't be any subtractions going forward. You might could have late additions. I don't know. Because again, with there having no tight deadline or timeline for when guys have to commit, who knows? A guy could be sitting in the portal way as options and then commit in March. I don't know. That's just the name of the game and the lack thereof of rules. So, but I mean, like we said, it's all fancy when we look at it on paper, but the real determination will be when they lace up the cleats and actually get on the field and what things look like. So I'm
Might
ready.
be a good idea to have the spring game this year too. Might be a good idea.
Yeah, I think especially that would benefit the fans as long as it's not bad weather and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's a little bit of buzz now with how well he's done in the portal, what he is able to flip in the recruiting class. You know, even though, yeah, he wasn't the original hire that a lot of people probably wanted, I think there's a little bit of optimism and buzz around Silverfield and the football program. And, you know, now it's time to go into spring, see what these guys do in spring practice. To your point, hopefully we have a spring game so we can kind of get a glimpse of, you know, the biggest thing I'll be want to watch is the quarterback battle. What does it look like reps between KJ and AJ? Yeah. And so, you know, I'm excited to see what we're going to get. And to your point, Zane, with the schedule, I mean, you don't over expect too much.
Yeah.
I would say 6 and 6 would be a great first season.
So, I just want to know who made the phone call. Hey, yeah, we'll come play at Utah. Like, what is the point of that? Like,
it's Yurchek. Who knows with Yurchek? I don't know.
Like, this is ridiculous. And then we're going to play a quarterback that's in his 6th year of eligibility. So, yeah, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. So, hey, they do have a new coach, though. So,
yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. But we'll get ready to wrap up. As I said at the beginning of the show, we're all prepping in some form or fashion for the potential impending snowpocalypse coming up. So, as we get ready to wrap up here, you guys got anything else?
Woo pig always. That's 100%. About it.
We'll see if the game happens Saturday, 7:30, SEC Network. Hey, if you maybe for some reason don't have work tomorrow, you get off early. The gymnastics meet at 1, and they made it free admission. So if you want to go do something before this big snowstorm, go have fun. So you can go see Hype Man Corey. But as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the show on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Hit that like and subscribe button so that way you don't miss any time we go live, whether it be just our regular show or any type of breaking news. And with that, we'll get ready to get out of here. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Be safe over with all this winter weather and whatnot. And we'll catch you back here on Sunday for your Razor recap. And we'll potentially recap a basketball game. We might not. We'll have to see. So with that, from Zane, Hobbs, myself, we're going to get out here. Everybody have a great weekend.